Sexual abuse is a terrifying experience, requiring years of recovery. Located in Los Angeles County, MacLaren Hall, also called Mac Hall, was supposed to be a haven for unwanted, abused, and abandoned children. Instead, it closed in disgrace in 2003, and some of its former residents have been speaking out about sexual abuse at the facility.
40 people are now coming forward claiming they were abused as kids at a former LA County emergency center. It was called MacLaren Hall.
Mac Hall opened its doors in the 1940s with the intent to house non-delinquent minors and keep them separated from other children who were guilty or accused of crimes. By the 1960s, that purpose had changed. Mac Hall now also included children from the county juvenile hall due to overcrowding and had grown to house over 4,000 children a year. Unfortunately, for decades up to the 1970s, the county probation department ran Mac Hall and operated it the same way they operated the prisons. Mac Hall had a 14-foot chain link fence topped with 5 feet of barbed wire, with floodlights everywhere. Violence was common. Children frequently ran away, and the facility was notoriously overcrowded. Many former residents reported over-medication, beatings, use of restraints, rape, and other forms of sexual assault. Mac Hall had become a dangerous and traumatizing place instead of a sanctuary it had originally promised. Plagued by complaints of child abuse and neglect, Los Angeles County finally shut down Mac Hall after the American Civil Liberties Union sued LA County for failing to provide sufficient medical care for the children. The ACLU also accused the county and the state of California of over-reliance on Mac Hall as more of a permanent housing facility rather than a temporary one, favoring budgetary decisions over choices made in the best interest of the children, simply cataloging the mental health needs of children rather than providing requisite care, dispensing minimal or non-appropriate mental health treatments to children in need, insufficient or no training for Mac Hall staff and other social workers. The 2002 lawsuit was only the start of legal troubles for Los Angeles County. Recently, survivors began launching their own cases to speak out about the injustices they had suffered. One such suit alleged 2 social workers from the County Department of Children and Family Services had suspicions that a 15-year-old girl had been sexually assaulted by her mother and 4 men, but did not inform the appropriate authorities. That lawsuit ended with a $20.6 million award from Los Angeles County. In June of 2022, another lawsuit was filed against the county on behalf of 12 more victims who allegedly suffered abuse at Mac Hall. The implications were clear. Survivors of such horrors and mistreatments don't have to sit by and suffer in silence.
And it is time for Los Angeles County DCFS to take accountability and change the broken system.
Did you or a loved one suffer sexual abuse, physical abuse, or other mistreatment at MacLaren Hall? You may be able to hold Los Angeles County liable, not only for sexual abuse but also for negligent hiring and supervision. Los Angeles County, as the employer, knew or should have known that Mac Hall staff members were at risk to the residents at the facility. Under California law, if you were a child when the sexual abuse at Mac Hall happened, you have until the age of 40 to sue Los Angeles County for the harm you suffered. However, there are 2 exceptions that can prolong the time you have to file a lawsuit even further. Victims, especially children, may not realize that sexual abuse actually happened until learning years later what sexual abuse is and how it affects them. Victims have 5 years to file a claim from the date they discover your abuse. The law also allows for a look-back window. Until December 31, 2022, there is a temporary window of opportunity to file a claim for sexual abuse, regardless of your age or when the incident occurred. Courts can grant economic and non-economic damages to compensate you for your injuries. Compensation can cover past, present, and ongoing medical expenses, including psychological and psychiatric treatment, pain and suffering, and other damages resulting from your harm. Economic damages directly reimburse you for expenses incurred or those you expect to pay, including medical treatment costs and fees for counseling services. Plus, can provide permanent emotional damages when the victim is unable to work. Non-economic damages reimburse you for pain and suffering caused by your sexual abuse. Punitive damages can be available if the defendant acted with intentional disregard for the safety of the victim. The intent of punitive damages is to punish the defendant for their wrongful conduct and discourage others from committing the same or similar acts.
I was molested by the doctors and the staff.
In the aftermath of a sexual assault, you might not be able to think clearly or focus on filing a sexual abuse claim on your own. That's why you need a compassionate and objective law firm that specializes in sexual abuse litigation to step in and manage the details and legal complexities of your lawsuit. Don't wait to seek justice and compensation. Contact Herman Law today for a free consultation. Our dedicated team focuses exclusively on representing those who suffered sexual abuse from California to New York and every state in between. Contact us online at hermanlaw.com or call us at 1-866-244-0968.